Want to level up your YouTube video background? Here are our top recommendations to create an awesome YouTube studio backdrop quickly and easily. But I do want to say, while you might think this is super important, too many people get stuck here overthinking and overcomplicating this. And just to demonstrate that point, I pulled up the top 2 videos of all time on my channel. Together, they've gotten over 500,000 views. One of them I filmed in front of a plain wall, and the other one I filmed in my living room facing a window. I didn't even have lighting. So don't let the background hold you up. Content is always the most important part, but that doesn't mean we need to have something that looks bad. For me, my video background helps me with my confidence because it makes me feel good when I see it on the camera. Plus, I've got some things on the wall behind me you may have spotted that actually help build my authority and my brand, and I'll tell you what those are here in just a minute. I'm gonna walk you through 3 levels of video background. Level 1 is gonna be the most basic, super easy to do, and level 3 is gonna be, requiring a little bit more to set up, maybe getting a couple of props or different things like that. In the end, you'll probably pick and choose from the 3 levels to create your perfect YouTube backdrop. Plus, you have an extra small space. Like, I'm not that far from the wall right here. I want to give you a bonus hack to make your small space look bigger, so stay till the end for that. Our level 1 option is going to be something in your house or wherever you film that you already have. So it could be an area that looks decent. It could be that plain wall that we talked about. And it may not be in your office. If you feel like that's the obvious place to film, well, maybe there's something better. The key thing to look for is something that looks nice and that doesn't require cleanup. As I mentioned, the first videos I made for YouTube were actually standing in my living room. And because I was standing, even if, believe me, in a lot of the videos, the couches were covered with pillows tossed about and toys on the floor, it didn't matter because I shot it up high. So again, look for something that is pretty much ready to go. Bonus if it has a lot of really good natural light. As I mentioned, I was facing a window in that space. From there, I actually did move to a plain wall, and it was the color that it already was. I had this sort of light gray that was in my office. And rather than trying to decorate it with a bunch of different things, I just decided to use that space and always have a graphic on the screen. Whether it was my logo for the channel at the time or some other graphic that enhanced whatever I was talking about. So that's level 1. You may already have a space that will work just fine that you haven't really thought about yet. Level 2 is obviously to start doing something, and this is where you may want to use a plain wall or maybe an area that you already have, but paint it to make it pop a little. That's what I did in this space here, this color on the wall behind me. It's actually called Gentleman's Gray, and without the lighting, it's actually a dark gray. It almost looks black sometimes, but I wanted a color to kind of make it pop, something that I would feel good when I was standing in front of and I saw myself on the camera monitor. I thought about painting this, I'm in a corner, I thought about painting this wall that color too, but I almost felt like that was too much. So I left this one, whatever color it was, whatever off-white it is, and then I had the blue behind. But super cheap and easy to just add a pop of color, maybe a brand color to help you stand out. And this also doesn't have to necessarily be in your office. It could be anywhere. Maybe you have other people that live with you that they're like, you're not gonna paint a wall red. Well, maybe you find a random place in the basement or a weird corner and you paint that red if that becomes your video background. You can put your camera on a tripod and pretty much film anywhere as long as you've got lights or enough natural light coming in. So that's our level 2 option. Our level 3 option is to have a dedicated filming space. And it was a while before I got there. Like I said, when I started, it probably took me 25 minutes to set everything up. Now I actually walk in, ask my smart speaker, I'm not gonna say its name, to turn on the studio lights, and I'm pretty much ready to hit record. So if you have a dedicated filming space, you can paint, you can do more with lighting, you can add certain things to the wall. So behind me over here, I have a YouTube plaque, and people that watch a lot of YouTube know what those look like, so that certainly helps my authority as somebody who helps people with YouTube and podcasts and video. A client of mine is a college professor, and she was starting a video podcast, and she just had this plain white wall, and I was like, do you have a bookshelf or some books? And she said, oh my gosh, I've got so many books, and I've got this bookshelf in the garage that's just been sitting there. So she put that behind her, and now all the books make her look more academic. That's a little bit more authority. So if you have something that can help your authority, that can be great. Things that add to your personality, maybe things that reflect your values. One of the things that I believe, and one of the reasons I love the YouTube community so much, is I believe that we all do better when we all do better. So that's why I have this big sign on the wall right there to reflect that as one of my values, that the rising tide raises all ships. The more we help each other out, the more successful we can all be. There's one more thing in my background that is there because my wife insisted on it. Can you pick out what it was? I'll tell you here in just a second, but a few things to avoid in your background. One is having too many things with words. You don't want it to be a massive distraction. So I do have this one big sign, and then I also have this on-air light over here, which is not on. Whoops. Bonus pro tip, check your background before you start recording. Other things to avoid having in the background, anything that is maybe super private. So if you have a diploma, for example, that you wanted to put up, but you didn't want people to know where you went to school, then you don't want to have anything back there that somebody might go, oh, I can look them up now. And then anything with reflective glass. So if you're going to have framed things, ideally, you could either just take the glass out of the frame or make sure that the glass that you have on it doesn't reflect back on whatever lighting you have coming in. And the thing my wife insisted on is having a plant. It's not even a real plant. I think if I'm quoting her correctly, she said, guys without plants in their houses look like sociopaths or something like that. So I've got a plant. All right, as promised, do you have an extra small space? Easy way to make it look much bigger, and that is simply to put a light behind you. I'm gonna turn this one off really quick. And now you can see there doesn't look like there's as much depth. Certainly the color changed dramatically. Now you can see the real color of the wall. But by putting a lamp behind you, and it doesn't even have to be a colored, like fancy light, like this one that I bought. It could just be a lamp that you have around. It could be a ring light you're not using anymore, pointed up at the wall. But what it does is it adds a rim around you that makes you stand out from the background. So that way, a small space doesn't look quite so small. I don't know how it looks from where you are, but right now I'm about 2 feet, which will be less than 2/3 of a meter from the wall. So which one are you gonna go with? Level 1, something you've already got. Level 2, maybe a splash of color. Or level 3, fully designing a filming space. Let us know in the comments. And remember, you can get started with level 1 like I did and then add to it later. Now, another comment I get a lot is, it takes so long to make all of the videos. Well, we've linked on the screen right now to our YouTube content creation process, how to make YouTube videos faster. Click on that, and we will see you in the next video.